You have to do it by asking really great questions and really digging deep with the right questions and figuring out what their goals are and what their why is behind what they're doing.
Give me an example of that.
Well, the example I shared in class, as you know, the sellers, we listed their house. They had gotten an offer that was definitely should have been accepted the way it was. They wouldn't budge because they weren't lying. They had forgot why they listed. They listed the house ultimately because the wife was concerned that her husband may have a heart attack if he shoveled snow again this year. So she wanted to get, because she knew he was stubborn, she wanted to get him out of the house. By the time we got an offer, she had forgot about that. He didn't want anything to do with that. So we brought the offer. They pretty much rejected it. They told me to pound sand. And then occurred to me a couple of days later that the real reason that they were selling the house was because she wanted to make sure that her husband didn't shovel snow again this winter. So I reminded her of that by just reminding her, hey, listen, winter's coming. We have no other offers. The chances are you're going to be here again through winter. Do you really want John shoveling snow? And that was kind of when it clicked with her, because what happened was it became personal. They had all these showings. They didn't get any offers. And then they got an offer that was lower than they liked, so they took this whole personal approach and forgot why they were even selling. So by asking great questions, we got them back to motivation.
Why is it so important that you find the why? Like, you just demonstrated that reason, but what's a good way to really get in, dive in, and figure out that why? Think about just talking to a newbie real estate agent. How do they learn from your experience? How do they figure out that why?
It's getting a little outside of yourself and outside of your normal comfort zone and being able to ask deeper questions, right? So we have a habit of going really surface level. Like I may say, hey, why are you selling your house, Kimberly? And you're, well, because I want to move to Florida. Oh, well, Florida's really nice. What's important about getting to Florida? Well, I like nice weather. Great, awesome. Well, let's do it. Shake hands, get your house in the market. I really have no idea why you're moving to Florida, right? But if I ask another question, okay, great, tell me about the nice weather. Okay, well, because, you know, we don't want to be here for the winter. Okay, great. So ultimately, by moving to Florida, not being here for the winter, what does that do for you? And then there may become, now all of a sudden, there may be this pause or this little bit of uncomfortability. And a lot of times it's on our side, not theirs, because they're just thinking. But now they're going to give you the real answer. Well, the real answer is because I'm scared to death that my husband's going to shovel snow this year and potentially die of a heart attack because he had a mild heart attack last year. So now we're getting to the real reason, right? Or, you know, find out people have to move for relocation purposes. They don't want to be away from their families. Things like that, like real motivation.
Absolutely.
Not just like, hey, I want to get my house on the market, and if I can get $400, I'll sell it. And you know it's worth $350, so it's a waste of time.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the very end of your presentation, you listed some questions you ask to move forward, to really get the ball rolling on the business. What are those questions and why are they so important?
Which questions?
When you talked about, are you ready to put me to
the
work?
Closing,
the closing questions.
Yeah. So my favorite is simply, are you ready to put me to work? You just nailed it. And I don't use any other ones. There's a few more on the slideshow. Honestly, I can't even remember what they are without seeing them because I've been using the same one for like 8 years. And it's, are you ready to put me to work? And I love it because it's an easy flow. It works for me. It might not work for everybody because it's direct, but it's like the answer is yes or no.
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, I'm fine with that. Okay, great. So what's got to happen? What's in the way? So it keeps things moving. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you find their motivation through that question as well, don't you?
That's a great point. In the consultation, we do ask enough questions so that we have a good understanding of, why they're doing what they're doing, but also what are they looking for, right? What are you ultimately looking for in the real estate agent that you hire? And then we can later on use that to actually get them to sign a contract.
What's the best prospecting advice you have for agents?
Best prospecting, do it. Yeah, I would say do it. And I'm not going to tell you like call phone because that's not for everybody. Some form of prospecting, and prospecting is being proactive. You reaching out as opposed to waiting for business to come to you. So you could go on Facebook every day and run Facebook ads and IM people and comment on people's, make comments on people's posts and stuff like that. That's a form. You could call physicals and expireds, which is what I do with my business. You can door knock. I know agents that go around neighborhoods and door knock. I mean, there's so many ways to prospect. I would say just do something and do it and be consistent with it.